Welcome, any and all, to the Movie Club Collective podcast, where every week we pick a different film and we have a roundtable discussion about it. This week, the film is Jurassic Park. Some films age like a fine wine. Some films age like vinegar. How will this one turn out? Joining us today, as always, here in the studio with me is Jose Venutolo.
Yes, hello.
Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Joining us from LA, we have Nick Landa, screenwriter, general lover of film.
Coffee drinker.
And joining us for the first time from nearby Brooklyn, nearby to us, is Chinh, a cinematographer and art director.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome to the show.
You're from Brooklyn. You're personal friends with Captain America. No.
Yeah, if I was living in the 30s and 40s.
Yes, I know. You look like 30 and 40.
Yeah. All right. So we're not here to talk about Captain America.
It's true. It's true.
We're here to talk about Jurassic Park.
Yes.
So usually how we start the show is kind of talking about our experiences with the movie before we rewatched it for the movie club. So do you want to kick us off, Chinh? What was your... Did you even know this film existed before this week?
Yeah. I mean, I remember when it came out in theaters in the summer of 93. I was around 9 or 10. And, I mean, my first experience with Jurassic Park is kids in class just, like, talking, you know. This movie's coming. It's the movie. And, of course, you know, when you're a kid, you love dinosaurs. Everyone loves dinosaurs.
It's true.
I assume.
I had a great pop-up book.
But actually, I did not watch it in theaters, which is really disappointing.
Oh, really? It's PG-13, right?
Yeah, it's PG-13, but my parents never really took me to movies. I think they took me to see Ninja Turtles and whatever, but they weren't going to take me to see Jurassic Park. So when I first saw it, it was actually on VHS tape.
Interesting.
Yeah. My parents.
That's how a lot of us saw things.
Yeah, my parents bought this a stereo system, and it came with a free gift of Jurassic Park on VHS. So that was how I first saw it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when was the last time you saw it before this viewing?
Years. It's been years.
It's been years?
Yeah.
What about you, Nick?
I'd seen it so many times. I don't think I saw it in theaters either though, because I was like, I don't know, maybe 6 or something. But first time was on VHS. I'd seen it like, I don't know, at least a dozen times before seeing it this time. So
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't think I saw it in theaters either. I was pretty
I
young.
mean, if it was PG-13,
Third grade.
then
I was in third grade.
Yeah, no.
But
I mean,
it was just
yeah.
like it was everywhere. It inundated the society. I had, Jurassic Park toys or whatever.
No.
I think I saw the second one in the theater.
Yes,
But the first
second one I saw in
one,
theaters.
yeah,
Yeah.
the first one was just a little too young. But yeah, we owned that movie. So I've seen it many times. I've also seen it on DVD because I watched it probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was the last time before this one.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Jose?
Well, I mean, again, because I'm old as fuck. I did see it in
Oh man, on the
theaters.
show today.
He actually saw the dinosaurs.
I actually saw the dinosaurs. No, I did see it. I mean, I have a lot of things to say and try to keep it concise, but this movie impacted me when I was a kid. I mean, it is still a very fresh memory on my head. I was 13 years old, probably. I was like 12 turning 13. I wasn't even 13. I remember it was one of the few times that actually the entire family went to see the movie, because usually my father would drop me and my sister in the movies and then let us there and then come back and pick us up. But this time we were on vacation. We were actually away from our city. And then this movie came out, and I was like, Dad, I need to go see this movie. I mean, as you say, they inundated society with the merchandise to the point that you already knew the logo, you already knew everything before you went to see the movie. So when you go see the movie, you get this sense that this is a real theme park because you have been inundated with the merchandise, just like if you see a Disney logo or something.
By the way,
Was it dubbed or subtitled?
It was dubbed. I saw it. Like, I can't remember, although I cannot remember. I cannot remember it in
How they sounded?
Yeah, I can. It was too long ago, and then when DVDs came out and actually I could see the movie again, I chose the English version, of course, and subtitled in Spanish, and eventually not subtitled at all. But I do remember that, like, my father used to fall asleep every time he went to a movie theater. He would just walk in because we
That's where you get it from.
Yeah, and exactly. And he couldn't. My mother kept making fun of him to the entire day because he couldn't fall asleep in this movie because there was constant screaming and constant.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how the hell did he fall
No.
asleep?
He fell asleep at the beginning, and then he actually had to see this movie, which is completely off-brand with him. He would watch like 40s or 50s
I want to give
film.
a quick shout out just to the like posters for this movie. Like I just like when I think about it, back that one with the T-Rex foot, just like that shot from the movie
Yeah.
where it's like his thing, and just the one that's like the black logo, just the
That's
logo of
Yeah.
the park. Those are both such.
I used to have that poster.
Good
Back
poster.
on those days, I found it somewhere
It's
in
a
a
good
store,
one.
and I bought it. Yeah,
a
I
good
used to have. I used to have T-shirts and stuff. Like, it was great.
Alright.
It was a really big impression when I was a kid.
All right, so let's get into it. I hope we're not going to go easy on this film.
I don't think
By
we
the way.
will. Ching
Yeah,
might.
so
God, it sounds like
I
you
love
guys
this
are ripping it apart.
I
Jesus.
love
This
this
is gonna be
film.
another one. We're gonna.
I love this film, but like
you're
on
gonna
this
give it a two.
rewatch, I just noticed a lot of strange things. Let's talk about the good stuff first.
Yes.
We're gonna if you get it, I'll let you get it out of your
Yeah.
out of your systems. How well does this movie hold up visually? Jose, yeah. why don't you
Okay,
start?
well, I actually feel that this movie holds up pretty well visually, and I think it's because there was a mix of animatronics plus visual effects for a computer, but they didn't rely on computers like as they would these days, and then you can see it now.
They're very
And then-
judicious with
Yes.
the CGI.
So then, I was actually, when I was watching this movie again, I was actually paying attention to that. It's like, how much can I see that this is not a real thing in there? And it's almost seamless. I mean, some of the times when you notice when dinosaurs interact with something, there is always, you can actually see them touching the thing. There's always something that is blocking that, but it's just the inch that will be touching a wall or touching like a car, and then you can see it. It's like in a curve, so then you assume the dinosaur is touching it. And I think that they were clever on that. You never actually see the dinosaur touching something. There's always something blocking that inch.
I mean,
where-
unless it's an animatronic.
unless it's an animatronic.
Because like the claws that
But
are
did you
coming around the door, those are clearly
Yeah. But when
Animatronic.
you see, for example, the T-Rex scene and he's pushing the car is always in an angle in which when his nose touches it, you can
It's
see
blocking it?
you can see the nose
You know, I
actually
didn't even
touching the
notice
car.
They did a good job with that.
Yeah, no, they were very good. So I think that visually this movie holds pretty well. I was expecting it not to, but it did.
Yeah, what about you, Chin? Like
Yeah,
as
I
someone
agree.
who's shot a number of things, like how is
No,
the
no, no.
cinematography in this film?
I actually saw it last night and I was absolutely blown away. I think they did a lot of really smart things, like all the T-Rex, all the big shots with the T-Rex were in the dark. It's a dark, it's a lot of rain, and I think that masked a lot of the early special effects or CGI issues.
Yeah, choosing to do that car scene in the rain is a stroke of genius. Because like,
Yeah,
because
it's like amazing.
the nature of the glossy CGI, like it just covers it so well. I'm sorry, go on.
Absolutely. I think I think early CGI, they did a lot of plastics really well, right? A lot of like hard metals really well. So you're absolutely right with the water. Makes it look glossy, makes it look a little bit less flesh, I guess. Isn't this the first movie that they actually had like actual flesh characters running around?
It might be. Yeah, it was like groundbreaking in its use of CGI. Because which one's first? This one or Terminator 2?
T2 was first.
T2 was first. So T2 was like, it had the metallic effects, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And kind of like really nailed that. But then this one took it a step further and like had living masses being replicated by it. So yeah, it was like a giant leap.
Yeah.
I think one of the things about this movie in the way that it's aged is like you kind of can't watch it without like watching for the effects to see if they hold up, because it has such a sterling reputation, like, and it is better than a lot of modern movies in the way that it looks.
Yes.
I would say the majority. There's only a couple that I would confidently say look better in effects. Like
That's
District
true.
9 effects kind of blew me away in a similar fashion. You know, some of the kind of like extremely recent films are starting to pass this, but like, yeah, it really set a very high watermark. And I just found that like it's almost distracting watching for the stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
Because you're expecting it. You're expecting it to not hold, and then you're surprised when it does.
certain things hold really well, and other things are a little like the initial scene with the dinosaurs, with the Brachiosaurus. Like, you know, it's a little glossier than it
You
should
do
be.
see a little, yeah.
Same with the running, like the flocking herd. But the
The daytime stuff more.
yeah, the T-Rex stuff is all pretty.
It holds
spot
pretty
on.
well. It
What
holds.
a-
That's the best for sure.
I think the best looking scene in the film, effects wise, is when the Velociraptors are in the kitchen.
Oh,
They look because it's such a seamless mix of animatronic and CGI.
It is very seamless. It is
Yeah.
very seamless.
They do have the weird shot where it's like behind the feet.
I know.
Right?
And then he just does the tapping,
Yeah,
the tapping.
yeah. Actually, the one dinosaur that I thought looked off to me, the way it moved, was actually not a CGI one. It's the Dilophosaurus, you know, with the fan shaking.
Oh, the
He
one that
does.
takes out Newman?
He does
Yeah,
look.
exactly.
He does
Exactly,
look
yeah.
like a puppet. He does look like he moves like a puppet.
Yeah.
And the other one is like the Triceratops.
I think the Triceratops is the best prop.
my
like,
You think it's the
ever.
best
It's
prop?
so
I-
good. The way that it moves, the eye looks perfect. It's like breathing, and it's so tactile.
You can see.
Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, it's dirty.
It's nasty.
I mean, it does look like I remember Triceratops from
Triceratops.
because of how old I am.
Oh, right. Oh.
We'll keep the old jokes rolling.
Yes, why not? Why
Well,
not?
then.
Why not? One day I will be really old.
Just bust out the amber cane.
What are you gonna do?
So the other thing I think this film does really well, is tension. It's like I think the movie does the tension so well that it blinds you from seeing anything that's wrong with it. Like, and I think that's one of the reasons the movie is so popular, because like it gives you like once the movie gets rolling into its more tense scenes, like with the car going over the cliff, it's just like one after another, and like it really strings it along in a way that very few movies pull off. I think it actually does a lot better than any of Spielberg's other movies, like including Jaws. Like Jaws has this kind of like build up, but this one is just like you're like, you know, your hands in the seats.
I remember.
Yeah, so that's one thing that like I really have to give this movie credit for. It's just like the tension is masterful, and I think that there are flaws in this movie, but that the tension almost kind of blinds you
Carries
to
it.
them. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the scene with they need to turn the power back on. You know that scene?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she goes
The
and she
fence?
flips all this. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And,
that's
you know,
a good one.
I think when I watched it, I wanted the kid to get off the fence, but he doesn't. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's the tension breaker. You know, it's not like oh my kid, oh my god, this kid got the fence, he's safe. No.
Yeah.
He just gets electrocuted. And, he gets,
And so like the
shot.
tension's still there. It peaks, but then you're like, oh shit, he could be dead. Like,
And it's so not Spielberg to electrocute a kid.
It's true. It's true.
So I was like, yeah, because you think he's gonna get off. Or,
At the last second. You go like he's gonna get out.
by
at
the
the
way,
last second.
Props to whoever is responsible for the proper use of CPR in a movie for once, because like usually in movies CPR is like really forceful, and then they start like banging on the chest,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like that will kill somebody. So like I was really happy when I saw him like do proper CPR on the kid.
I wouldn't even know. I would kill somebody.
Quick note to that: you'd kill
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
I would probably kill somebody.
Don't revive. Don't resist.
the resist it. Just call somebody else.
What do you guys think are like sort of the best elements of the film? Nick, what do you think?
For one is effects for sure, because I agree with you. Like the effects are better than a lot of stuff today. There's a lot of CG stuff that looks like crap today, and compared to this one, that was good. So special effects, music, of course, John Williams. That was it's still classic, and certain characters and the tension building. I think those are the best things. 'Cause
Which
I
characters?
have some beefs that I've noticed this time with other stuff like cinematography and a few other things, but yeah, I think characters.
Which
and,
characters are your favorite?
I like Jeff Goldblum. I got to say, I just love him.
He's hard not to love, right?
The chaos theory thing is cool too. Like I never paid attention to a lot of this stuff when I was a kid, and this time older, like paying attention to like. I was trying to pay attention to their respective roles because when I was a kid, I just thought these were two kids invited to a park. And I didn't pay attention to what the hell the grown-ups were invited for. It's like, oh, these kids are invited to Disneyland. This is awesome. Like, this time I was like, okay, yeah, so this guy is a specialist in this guy's a specialist in this, and so on. And so I just like his whole thing, like that he kind of specializes in like, it's like, I guess it's like probabilities or something, or like all the different kind of ways something can unfold, and the fact that he's just so freewheeling and weird. I just thought he was a really cool character.
Yeah.
And of course, the water part is the best. He's like rubbing her arm, and you can like literally feel it when you're watching it. You're like, oh.
I know. That reminds me of something that, like, in this film, I was asking myself for like a good half the film. I watched this with my girlfriend, and I turned to her and I was like, "Are they a couple? The Grant and the Dr. Sadler?" Like, I couldn't decide if they were a couple. Like, they were talking about kids. But I was like, it could be in a non-direct relationship way. And then there's just like the one line where he goes, "You and the doctor?" Yeah. And like, that's literally the only evidence that they're actually in a relationship. And like, Grant could be lying for all we know.
It's true. It's true.
He's just like, "Get off my assistant, you perv."
Yes.
I totally forgot that they were introduced together. For some reason, I thought that he was introduced and she was, or that, you know what I'm saying? That was something I totally forgot about.
What's your favorite stuff, Chinh?
Oh no, I watched it this time. I watched it with my girlfriend as well, and she had to put on the subtitles. She always does this with movies, and it kind of bugs me, but you know. But actually, I got a lot more out of it this time because I could actually see their dialogue, you know, all their scientific dialogue.
Yeah.
So I think that was a lot of fun, and it added a ton of credibility for me watching it this time to them being scientists. Because when I watched it as a kid, I thought it was just people running around, you know. And
yeah.
So that added a lot, and I don't know. I think this is one of the films where I enjoy watching more and more as I grow older. You know, some movies, you know, you watch, you know, many times, and for some reason I watched it last night.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes you can't go back.
Yeah, sometimes you can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it with subtitles too, actually, and I some of the sciencey stuff went way better digested. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
One thing I forgot was like, so I remember the frog thing, but I didn't get why the frog thing was there from a writer's perspective, and then this time I finally got it with the whole
the
like,
mutating
give
DNA.
birth.
Totally.
Well, not just the whole filling in the DNA, because when I was a kid,
Yeah,
I was
the
like,
fact
why
that
couldn't
they
use a
can
lizard?
mutate genders.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
can,
Yeah, I was like, why didn't they just use like a Komodo dragon or something? But yeah, this time I got it. I was like, oh, they used a frog because of that. Got it.
Yeah. In my opinion, like one thing that I'm noticing right now is something that I was thinking this morning actually, is that when I used to watch this movie up until this last time, I was always watching it from the kids' perspective, and it's the same thing as you guys. Like the science, I did understood the science a little more than you guys did the first time for what I'm picking up, but it wasn't completely there. And I've always been like, oh, this is cool. It's a party. It's like, but now I'm watching this movie and I'm watching it from the perspective of what if you're a scientist and you're called to do this, and suddenly you just walked into this amazing new universe in which what you used to study, like I paid attention.
B.D. Wong's character, by the
B.D.
way,
Wong-
the scientist
B.D. Wong's
character
always
is
been-
just so like ambivalent.
Yeah.
The doctor who we see hatch egg, he's just like,
Oh,
you know, he's so like cocky about his science.
I know.
Yeah,
He's just like, how would all female society breed?
But
You know, he's just like, get out of here, you freaking loser.
The whole staff of
Like, he's
Jurassic
just so
Park
flippant
talking
about it. I'm like, you think he would be one of the more like voices of reason?
I know. I
So,
mean, he
but
has
maybe
never.
not. Yeah, I guess
he was
that's the
never.
whole
his
point.
boss is Hammond, who's like the most cocky
That's true.
asshole. out of
Yeah.
all. He really got on my nerves.
I liked. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I used to like Jeff Goldblum's character, and now I kind of think that he's just a douche. Like, this guy is just like hitting on everything. He's just not taking shit seriously and stuff. I don't know. Like, he was a little more difficult to
But in the
digest
boardroom,
right now.
he has his moment of
Like-
like,
But he's
what the
not-
hell's
he's
wrong
comic
with
relief.
people?
I know. I mean, he's a like now as Nick said, now I can understand why he was there. He's a chaos theorist, so he's there to see the things that nobody else see because he's just prone to actually see how things. He's like the Murphy's Law guy. He's like shit can go wrong. it will go wrong. It will be wrong. You're dealing
wrong.
with forces. We're dealing with huge forces, and it's interesting because this movie at the same time it poses like I remember this movie was coming out when the genome program was still just up in the air. That people were saying like, oh, we're gonna try to figure out what the genetic code of people are. So this was relevant back then, and nobody was asking the questions like, should we do this? More people were saying like, oh, we can do this now, so we should do it because it's cool and awesome. And then this movie poses that question. It doesn't say no to technological advance, but it definitely poses the questions like when you are at the verge of discovering something that big and transcendent, sometimes you forget to sit back and
what
think.
do you guys think that the ultimate message of the movie is? Is it like, don't meddle, or is it like, things are going to evolve, we're going to be all right?
Nature-
like, what did you guys take from the
Nature
film?
finds
Nature
a
will
way.
triumph.
Nature
exactly.
finds the
Nature-
way.
because they always are having that quote too of like Hammond is always saying like we spared no expense. We spared no,
Yeah, he
like,
keeps
there's this
saying.
whole theory of like, okay, well, there's enough money in this, and like with enough money, we're gonna be secure, and like, and then with the chaos theory and all that stuff thrown in, it's like no matter what, you cannot completely control something. Like you just can't. And
I
think that's,
just
like,
I just kind of realized something with you talking about that is that like I had this question earlier. I was talking with my girlfriend after the film, and a big question I had was like, why does Grant have this problem with machines? They mention it several times where he's like incompatible with technology, but I think it is what you're saying that like he represents nature in this case, and
totally.
and he's got ingenuity on his own without the aid of technology, and like he is able to kind of
Like the seatbelt
figure
thing.
things out. The seatbelt thing is one of my favorite setups in the whole movie because it's two females, and then he finds a way to do it.
Oh,
It's too female.
Oh my God, that's
He's really good at that kind of stuff in this movie.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
right?
my favorite. That's like one of my favorite moments because I was watching the film with their helicopter. I'm like, they are spending so much screen time on this belt buckle thing. What the hell for? And then it's like it hit me that it's too
it's two females. It's
ends.
true.
And then he finds a way to tie them together.
Oh, that's deep. I can't think in that level. I'm so dumb. I feel dumb now. Yeah, although I do have to say something.
Say it.
They say when you're watching the video, they say that these frogs usually go from male to female. But in this case, in the case of dinosaurs, they go from
He
female
just
to
says
male.
that in single-sex populations,
But
they
he said-
sometimes make a switch.
Yeah, but he makes it. He like if you keep listening, he says
He
like
says all
usu-
male to-
males go to female, but he doesn't mention the other way around. That makes me
But they're
kind
in
of
the
wonder.
opposite situation. And I
Correct.
think it's just that they have an evolutionary advantage that they can adapt to this particular scenario.
Yeah, I feel that. It's just like
It's
if
probably just to add to their confidence too, to be like, well, hey, they go from men to female. We have all females, so we're good. It's like just to
Yeah.
add to their like cockiness and
It's
because
true.
all of Jurassic Park, the whole staff is so cocky. That's what I noticed. This
how
time.
you
I'm
like
damn,
Samuel L. Jackson in this movie. Samuel L. Jackson is just like it's not
great.
the regular
the
Samuel
biggest
L.
crime
Jackson.
of this
No,
movie
no,
is
he's
that
super
there's not enough Samuel L. Jackson.
There's not enough Samuel. But I like what we got.
I want his death scene. I would rather have his death scene than the arm gag.
Probably.
Like I get what they were trying to do with the arm gag, but for me it never really hit. Like it's supposed to be like, oh, the situation's over, it's calm now. Psych, but like I don't think the moment has time to settle to pull the double turn. Like she just evades the attack from the velociraptor and then immediately the arm falls on her. I'm like, I feel like to pull off that he either needed to like create a moment of respite there or just give me Sam Jackson's death. Because
You like to see
that would
Samuel
only
Jackson
make
dying.
like he's got one of the best deaths ever in Deep Blue Sea. Spoiler alert.
Yes. Oh, Deep Blue Sea is the best one. Yeah, you can't top that one.
But like this came first. It could have been the one to top.
What do you think, Chinh? You want and
Well,
SMJ to just kick the bucket in this movie?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think he had that
Or
big
Liv,
a role
right?
in the movie to warrant a death scene.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole arm thing really
Hold on to your butts.
it was so weird because his arm was like just floating.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like-
it's
like-
true.
Like, where did it
Like,
come
where-
from?
where's the
It
rest
does
of the
look like
body?
somebody handed it to
Yeah,
him.
yeah, it's true. I mean, one of my favorite shots in this movie, and this is super weird, is just when he's just trying the different things on the computer, and it's just a close up of his mouth, and the cigarette is almost completely gone.
It's all the way to the
And
filter.
and then it feels like that shot of the radio lady on the Warriors. You know, have you seen the Warriors?
No, I
like
haven't
she's
seen it.
like there's this shot of like it's only the voice. They call her the voice, and then you see this radio lady, and she's only her mouth. And it reminded me of that. I don't know if it's an homage to it. It has nothing to do, but it kind of like I like.
No,
that
this is
shot.
kind of a famous shot. I want to know what the original version of the shot is because it's also in Aliens when Ripley has the cigarette and she's like,
There you
it's
go.
just burned all the way down to the ash. You know, I think the cigarette is a good way to convey like a number of things, like the passage of time, distraction.
Yes.
Like if they're not smoking it and it's just very intense.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's
exactly.
always smoking.
He's always
just always
smoking.
got it,
He's
yeah.
always smoking.
Got it. It's always like down.
Yeah, it's a lab. Everybody's smoking. Like have
He
like
just has a
works.
pack of half cigarettes.
So stressed
This
out.
guy.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
guy. I
He's
mean,
just like he's run out of cigarettes and he keeps like, okay, you're going in the trash and it's only got like a half a centimeter.
But doesn't-
All right, let's do it.
doesn't happen to you that every time you watch this movie, you completely forget that Samuel Jackson's in it until he appears. You go, oh yeah, he's in this. It
no.
happens to me all the time.
Because Hold On to Your Butts is such a memorable.
Yeah. You know
Don't
who
let my-
is
hold on to
more
your
like that
butts.
with me is the Newman character. Sometimes I forget he's in it, and then when I see the movie again, I'm like, oh, right, Newman's in it. Wayne Knight.
He was apparently the first person cast in the film.
Oh, really?
really?
He's fantastic in it. I mean, he plays that part. so
I always
well.
loved the Dotson, we got a Dotson here.
That's
Such a
nobody
stupid thing.
cares.
All right, so I kind of want to get into something that I had a problem with in this film.
Now we're gonna get into the other
yeah,
side.
Yeah, we'll
Time to get
flip
into
the
the
coin.
dirt.
Oh,
We'll
yes.
flip the coin. Which is that there's a lot of setups that have zero payoffs.
Oh my God! Yes.
There's
Oh,
a lot
I
of
didn't know if
setups
somebody was
that
gonna
and they
mention.
just come up like they're just anecdotal. The Triceratops, like
Yes.
or the Triceratops, they find the sick Triceratops. It's sick, and there's a mystery about it. Why every 6 weeks? She's like, why? There's got to be a logical answer. The movie never gives it to us. Apparently, it is in the book.
I was just going to ask that if it's okay.
I can tell you what it is.
I have things to say.
Oh,
I have
please,
things to say
actually.
about this.
So what it is in the book is that some animals, like birds and stuff, will use rocks to help digest, to digest food in place of teeth, and so it does this, but eventually the stones like smooth out and it has to get new ones, and so it throws up the stones. It doesn't.
It doesn't
It
fully
doesn't. Yeah, it
digest
doesn't
it.
shit them. It throws them up, and so like when it's finding new stones, it eats those poisonous berries,
Oh.
and then it throws them up. So
Gotcha.
they're not
Why-
finding it. in
Why
the-
did they put that
Yeah,
in?
and so it's like why is the first half of that biological mystery there with
It's
zero?
so simple. They could have like literally just gotten rid of the 6 weeks line and just had it be sick.
Yeah,
and have
yeah.
that same emotional
Yeah.
connection. Like
Yeah.
why?
But you know what? This is what I feel it is, because I agree with you. There is like at least 3 places that I can mention, this one included, and I can mention the other 2, but we'll talk about those. But you know what I feel it is? Because there were a lot of rumors, a lot of rumors about the next movies, and I think that they were just planning these things to see if the next movie they can bank out of any of them and then just discard them all. Because originally there was this rumor that one of the next Jurassic Park films was going to deal with the fact that dinosaurs actually didn't die from a meteor, they died from a disease. And when they brought them back, they brought back the disease, and now the disease is affecting humans. So it was going to be a complete spin-off of saying bringing back things from that time also brought
So
a
you
pandemic.
think they were just like planting
They
multiple
were
seeds?
exactly. It's just like when the guy.
That's no way to-
I don't
that's no way to
remember.
make a movie.
I don't remember
Sloppy,
I don't remember the name. Nerd. Like the guy who betrays them. The fat guy.
Oh, Wayne Knight. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what,
like-
I forget his name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep forgetting his name.
Let's just call him Newman.
Like he gets killed, and then the shaving cream thing goes down, and then gets buried.
I thought
and
that
then you
was like
think-
a setup.
and you think like
later.
this is a setup. This is definitely gonna pay off at some point.
When I was a kid, I definitely thought that scene was going to come back.
Totally.
For whatever reason, it like always stuck with me.
now I'm
Because
thinking
the shaving cream stands out. Yeah.
then like now I'm thinking that the Spielberg was just gonna say
It's just tying up
like
that.
these,
That one's just like tying up that end.
These like dinosaurs are buried. They should remain buried. So this is gonna be buried again.
Also, who
Like,
knows what the first
That's
draft
actually
of the
good, I
script
like
had as well.
It's true, and it took them like a good 3-4 years to make this film.
Yes.
So like over the course of making it, I'm sure revisions were.
There you
plentiful.
go. And some
Yeah.
things were cut.
So I do think things slipped through the cracks. But like, let's talk about some of the other missed setups. Like, what was another one that
I can remember.
Because you said you had like 3.
but for some reason I can remember only those 2. I can like.
Okay.
I forgot the third one.
It was 2. It wasn't
There's another one I just I can't remember right now. But maybe it's one of the ones that you noticed.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I want to rather than take up all the talking time, I want to hear kind of what Chinh and Nick have to say. Were there any issues you guys had with the film, Chinh?
I think the shaving cream thing was probably the biggest issue, and also the Newman character was so, one-dimensional. I mean, it's the movie is about greed. Also, it's about greed and
absolutely.
him and
Consumerism.
So I understand the purpose of the character, but he's such an asshole. And I mean, can we say that on this podcast? I don't know if it's
Yeah.
PG-13 or PG podcast.
I've said fuck like 3 times already.
I'm gonna have to put the explicit label on it. All right.
So I don't know. It's his character. I really wanted him to die, and I guess that's the purpose of the character. But it's funny because I've seen these characters in other films too, like Prometheus. The Aliens
Ridley
prequel.
Scott.
Prometheus.
That movie.
Th-
Full
those
of idiot
two-
scientists.
Exactly. Those 2 guys are such idiots. I'm like, how are these scientists?
Yeah.
And I think those 2 characters in Prometheus really bugged me, and the same reason why this character kind of bugged me in this one. Now that I watched it.
There's a thing with Newman that is kind of in the category of a unfulfilled setup, but it's also just, I guess, interest for the character, is that it feels like there's an interesting backstory between Newman and Hammond that we just don't get. Because he has this line of like, about mistakes. And he's like, I do expect you to pay for your mistakes. As like a specific reason why he's underpaying him. That like for some reason Newman owes him, has some sort of debt to him. That's like I got an implication of that. And I was like asking myself, I was like, what's that story?
I didn't see it like that. I saw like something of the moment. I saw like a philosophy of him, but not
because
like,
there is a question is like he spared no expense. Why did he spare any expense with Newman?
Yes, true.
That's
You know,
true,
I
yeah.
spared no expense. Newman's sitting there going, "You don't pay me enough. I'm gonna sell you out for $75,000."
Yeah.
Or no, he's like $1 million, right?
1.5.
1.5. I'm gonna sell you out for $1.5 million. And then Hammond has to have a reason that he's underpaying him, and they have that line that like,
And he kind
you
of
have
runs.
to pay for your mistakes.
he
I forget
kind of-
exactly the first.
No,
half, but-
no, I don't expect people to something about my mistake, but I expect them to pay for them.
Yeah.
And he kind of runs the park.
So it sounds like Newman fucked up somewhere along the line when he was working for Hammond.
Maybe.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna increase your salary."
Maybe, but like Samuel Jackson's character does say, like I can't bring Jurassic Park back to life
We
if I
need
don't
him.
have this guy.
Yeah.
Like that's how important this
Like
guy
Hammond's
is.
unwilling to admit that he needs him.
So relying on technology, relying on computers, and so Skynet
There you
all
go.
over again.
Did you have any problems with this film, Nick?
Yeah, so I mean, a big one. I was never a huge Spielberg cinematography fan. He does okay. It's just my biggest beef with Spielberg always is just his night shots are always way too bright. It's always like, like the moon is on the planet Earth, and it's like just. I always have a beef with that in all of his movies, and this one
does that a
I
lot,
noticed
it's
it
true.
again, especially. It's just like I was like, God, like I think movies have evolved a lot as far as nighttime shots. Like you look at movies like Sicario and stuff, where you feel like it is night, and you're kind of more as like watching a scene kind of unfold in nighttime. When I watched this movie, it definitely felt 90s and dated when I saw that. It's like it looks cool and it's pretty, but it obviously has much more of a fantasy feel with like just everything super exposed.
There's a surprising
inside of a
amount of
car
shots.
at night.
There's a surprising amount of shots also with a lot of grain.
Oh yeah,
in the
I
night
noticed
shots.
that too. I didn't know if it was the Netflix thing or whatever, but especially the first scene at night, it was really, really great.
Mhm.
And I think it's also because he uses so much smoke. So
Yeah,
like all
lots
the
of smoke.
and nighttime.
You got to be able to see those beams of moonlight.
Yeah. So Which one thing that was funny, I noticed at this time in the first scene, I totally forgot how like the black guy gets killed super quickly. Did anyone else like the very first person who dies is that when they're doing the whole Velociraptor in the cage thing?
Yeah,
oh yeah.
I was like
Immediately.
Spielberg, no, and he gets it the worst than
That's true.
anybody.
He gets
Like,
mauled
then
to death by the
whole-
Velociraptor.
It's like a minute long of him just being like like getting dragged.
He's black and Latino.
Can I say that's the weirdest transition of the film for me also, where he's like, shoot her!
Shoot
And then it like crossfades to the water. I was
Yeah,
like,
I did
that was
not
a
remember
weird.
that. I was like, this is a kind of bizarre.
It's a bizarre shot. It's no, and that shoot, like it's just weird. It's just weird how it's like, why did you go to that close up, like a string like detailed close up of his mouth, just with a weird accent going.
But the hand is.
He's dead. He's dead.
But,
Like
you know,
I
I will say, like, there were a lot of like things you were saying of like setups that weren't needed. But after seeing it this time, and I saw Jurassic World a while ago, I gotta say I definitely am happy though. At least they set things up, even if they don't play out. Because one of my biggest problems with Jurassic World is that they didn't set shit up in that movie, and they like. Do you remember Jurassic World? There's a part where they're. Oh, you didn't see it? There's a part where a truck breaks down, and one of the like 9-year-old kids fixes it, and literally. He just slides out from under the truck and he says, "Thank goodness we used to work on Uncle's automobile things for years." And it's just like delivered within the scene. And I'm like, this is bullcrap. Like, so I definitely appreciated in this movie of like setting stuff up, like being secure to do that stuff. Because Jurassic World like threw all that out of the window. They would just solve a problem and then explain to you why it's solved on that.
Oh, here was a setup that I was waiting. That I like started looking for. I was like, did I forget something? When the hunter is introducing the Velociraptors, he tells this story that I had like never remember hearing upon previous watchings. Where he goes, we had 13 of them, and then we had this large female, and she killed all but 2 others of them. Like she's a beast. Like she's the one who commits the murder at the outset of the film that puts all this emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, why can't I tell which one of those 3 Velociraptors
That's a really good,
is the big mean one?
It's true.
Yeah, no, that should have been a prime, absolutely.
Not to bring the book into this, but because I didn't read it.
Oh,
but
please do,
apparently,
bring it.
but
I
apparently,
like
the Velociraptors actually breed out of control in the books. It's the opposite scenario. It's like there's like 30 plus of them when there should only be a couple. So it's kind of interesting. They chose to pare them down to there's just the 3, and like one of them is like this super deadly one. And then I'm like, I have no idea which one's the mama bear.
That's
You
the
know,
one
like-
thing they did good in World when they had Blue.
Yes.
Like, okay, this guy's name is Blue. He's blue. I can tell which one he is.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, just like a red streak or something, or like a scar, right? The old evil scar on the face.
The Hollywood scar.
Even when,
You know, not to propagate the stereotype that scars make people evil.
Sometimes they do.
But you had to get it somehow.
You gotta get. I mean,
it's a
by
sign.
getting
It's
in
just
trouble.
It's a sign, yeah.
It's a sign. It's a sign that you get in trouble. You get out. You probably had to claw your way
You had to
out.
figure your way out. So yeah, so I was waiting for like to see a signal that one of the Velociraptors was especially bad because that setup is there directly, and then we just never.
Well, it's kind of
Never
what
get back
it's
to
kind
it.
of what ends up killing him when he just looks at her and goes like "clever girl," and then he just dies. Right? It's just like that's kind of like, but that and then that's her. That's her.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
her.
But, still,
But
I think
but it's
grounded,
true.
It would have been nice. Yeah.
It's true. You can't really tell. The other one is like henchmen. It's just like if you're watching like the Lion King, and then there's like the main hyena, and then there's the other 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's
what
just
it kinda-
exactly that.
They
Ching
should have
likes
just given
that.
one of them Whoopi Goldberg's voice. One
Yes.
Of them Bob
Why
Patton's
not?
Something before we close out, something I want to bring up is this idea I was thinking about that Michael Crichton made up a lot of this stuff about dinosaurs. And like
Really?
this movie is so influential to our culture
Yes.
that like we just think this is how dinosaurs are. But like there are certain things in the book like the one with the fan, the spitter,
Mm-hmm.
like Brianna read me a passage from it, and it says like they were surprised to find out that these dinosaurs were poisonous and that they could spit, and like it's something they discovered when they actually reanimated the thing, because like there's no evidence of them having
course.
sacs that spit venom or anything like that. But now that like we think of that dinosaur and that's what it does.
Yes.
And like
Oh, that's fucked up.
and paleontology is a study that is like one of the more like feverishly debated like people there's not a solid consensus on what dinosaurs were, how they died, what happened, like how like there are a ton of competing theories. And like when you put them into like a mainstream movie like this, we just take it
Oh yeah,
We just take it as fact.
As truth. Yeah,
as
for sure.
truth.
Yeah.
And like it's
When
kind
I
of
heard
crazy.
the whole bird stuff, I was like, "Oh, they were like birds, not like lizards." Got it, done. Like I know more about.
I know. This influences like popular culture.
They do
about
mention
things.
about the birds when he's talking to Timmy that
Yeah.
like there are multiple
Love that
theories.
scene.
So they do address it where he's like so and so
Like,
doesn't think they were birds at all.
I think it's all just a fabrication. I think paleontology is just not real, and they're just
Oh, they just
making
made up
they're
that
just
stuff.
making the bones, finding them, putting it there.
government-
They don't
government-
exist.
The Earth isn't that old. We all know that.
Evolution is not real.
Yeah, this is a very pro-evolution movie.
This is
You're,
it's a
you're
very
the
gotta
prime
say.
example.
I'm in the wrong podcast right now.
Yeah.
Ching is loving it. What you gotta say, Ching? Like you think paleontology it's just bullcrap?
Well, I was watching a little bit of the making of this movie,
Oh, cool.
and one interesting thing that they actually mentioned was that the whole lizard bird thing, and originally they had the dinosaurs sticking their tongue out like lizards. But then
It's
because
true.
this bird theory came in, they decided to take that out of the movie.
Oh, really?
I
makes
didn't know
sense.
that.
Interesting.
You know, it's funny if they would have made it like today. I wonder if they would actually had because nowadays a lot of scientists say that many dinosaurs, including the T-Rex, had feathers, and so I wonder if they would have made it today.
Really?
Yeah.
Like and Velociraptors.
Yeah, you see a lot of
especially,
depictions
they're
of like the
very-
velociraptors with like some of the feathers.
with feathers. Yeah, a lot of them believe that. They
Oh
had,
my God, were they chocobos? Chocobos?
Chocobos? Yeah, basically.
Oh, they
They're
were chocobos. They
Yeah,
were
they're
freaking
big-ass,
chocobos.
Very mean chocobos though, not like nice ones. That
So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a funny little like anecdote about Jurassic Park that like velociraptors when they were when the book was written they were only known to be like the size of dogs. Like they were kind of smaller. Like the size of the one that attacks Newman.
Mhm.
Like that's how big velociraptors actually are. But during the filming of Jurassic Park and they just sized them up for scariness. But during the filming of Jurassic Park they found like a subspecies of velociraptor that was like as big as one of the ones in the film.
I thought so,
Interesting.
and it has a different name, right?
It has a
Because I
different
heard
name. It's not a
someone looked up
velociraptor. They gave it a different name.
I was
Yeah.
like, they messed up in the movie. I was like, this is like a.
It's because they
Paloraptor.
discovered it during the
Got
course
you.
of filming.
Wow.
So like they literally didn't know. They just made up a dinosaur and then it happened to be real.
Yeah.
That's chaos theory for you right
I
there.
remember when I was researching it as a kid, and I saw like the drawings of velociraptors. I was like, these guys aren't scary as shit. Like they're like as big as my dog. Like they're not that bad. And then you see a bigger one.
All right.
And it has different
What's the best shot in the film?
To me,
Sure.
when the T-Rex just like growls at the end, and then the banner falls down, then says when
special.
dinosaurs rule the earth.
That's a
I
great- yeah.
love that
That's
shot.
classic.
Chin, what's the best shot in the film?
The first shot of the first dinosaur you see, it's when Grant, his
I love their reactions in that scene. I
They
feel
set
like
up
it
that
sells it.
shot, and you see him stand up in the car. He takes off his glasses. He turns.
Yeah,
Turn your head over here.
Yeah, he turns her
Laura
head.
Dern's her head.
She stands up, and then it just sets up into the sweeping, shot of Brachiosaurus, was it?
Yes,
Yeah.
the Brachiosaurus.
And I was I
Littlefoot.
watched it this time, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that's amazing, and I related with them, I went on this adventure with them, and that I was totally invested after that point. So I think that's my favorite shot.
Fair enough.
That's classic. Yeah.
What about
That's-
you, Nick? What's the best shot in the film?
It's one of the simplest, but I love it. The water cup, the water glass shot, because
Yeah.
it's like the chain. It's the spark that chains all the craziness that comes. And I think it's just whoever shot it, it was a very simple, really great idea.
Conceptually,
Like,
it's brilliant, and they use it throughout the
conceptually so
film
Do
with the
you-
Jello and with the bigger pools
Yep.
of water. But yeah, the first time they do it is
Do
it's
you?
like the Jaws. Doo-doo,
Yes.
doo. That's how I saw it.
Yeah. It's that version. Do you know the story behind it?
No.
I saw this documentary about.
Well,
how
I know how they did it with the guitars.
Yes, exactly. So because Spielberg actually wanted like circular waves that
Right.
that originated on the center of the glass, and then the more they did it, it was always like just normal waves, and then they found out that if they put like that's actually a guitar being played underneath.
I think they
and
just
then
like
the
strap it and
vibration
pluck it. And
the vibration created, because he was so specific, he wanted it to be like that,
So
like
they lied to us,
circles.
because if the dinosaur was actually coming to us,
It would
just
have
go-
been just
But
striking,
you don't know. Like, I mean, the idea is that it comes
from the
centered.
ground.
Yeah, it comes
from the ground.
from
Yeah,
beneath.
from beneath. But that's how they got that shot. I mean, they spent days trying to figure out how to how to make
Jeez.
the
Then
water.
that was a good call.
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe the easiest one. So then
No,
they-
no, no,
Yeah,
no.
apparently,
It was
really
very
tricky.
difficult because it's very specific.
Awesome.
Awesome. So, but yeah, paid off is your favorite. My favorite shot is when they're in the like the ceiling, and the raptor comes up, and then he's like climbing in the ladder, and it falls onto the ground, and it matches the skeleton, the fossil.
Oh.
Oh, that's nice.
And then in the same shot, actually, it jumps up and comes at you, which is like it's a good terrifying moment, but it's also just like just an incredibly beautiful shot. The lighting in the room is really cool, and it just the way it curls up, and it just perfectly matches that fossil from the beginning that they
nice
find in the dirt.
Very nice. It's like this was me, and I'm gonna die again. It's that same position.
It's natural. It's natural position. Yeah.
freaking dinosaur goes like, I'm having deja vu right now.
So that was my favorite.
I have
shot.
to ask you all a question, like, because this is like I,
Alright.
I feel that everybody has to ask this question. If Jurassic Park could be a reality, would actually like do
Would
you
I go
think-
to the park?
Can we control it?
It's not-
can,
I don't thi-
Can we control? Can
Oh.
this movie be like the new Titanic? Is like, no, this is unsinkable, and then now we can do it, and then because I
Have
think
you seen all of them?
I think it can be
The answer is
controlled.
no.
I think that this is not possible. I think that what happened in the park is not possible. I think that
That
we
it
can,
would all go crazy?
I think that we will have control.
But the
over
idea
it.
is that like
That's what I think.
I think the
You would
art.
have control.
I think we'll have control.
I think the argument though is that like the science, even like let's say the science is theoretically there.
Okay.
We can make them.
Yeah, bring 'em.
Like the science itself is strong, but people are very flawed. Like that's the whole message of the movie. It's like your government in theory has like a Bill of Rights and like a constitution, and it's like this wonderful thing, but in reality it's all bureaucracy and red tape and politics and backstabbing. Like that's how a business is too. Like you think a corporation runs like a well-oiled machine, but really it's just a mess all the time, and like it's always damage control. So I think like that's the element that that's kind of the point of the movie, is that like we think
We have
we're
control.
more efficient than we really are,
What do you think?
and when we do things we get sloppy. So I think that it would be sloppy.
Yeah, it'd be sloppy. There's just not enough money in the world. That's like 50 Disney Worlds. Like, just to build the place that houses the pterodactyls is like gotta be as much
Making
as how much
pterodactyls is
Disney World
the
This-
dumbest.
I mean, so-
is the dumbest choice
It's the
of
dumbest
dinosaur.
idea, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so wait, so then I got like, Chin, you're my only hope here. Like, you're like, no, you're gonna go against me.
I think you cannot learn your lesson when you watch Jurassic Park. The whole point of the movie is that we cannot control it.
I missed though. You just went over my head. You just went over my head. He just said it. He just said it to me right in my face. It just went over your head. You need to go and rewatch that movie.
Rewatch it. Get the message.
I refuse it. I refuse it. The third one
All right.
vindicates
Next
it.
week we're gonna watch a new movie, and you're gonna watch Jurassic Park again.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much
Thank you.
for joining.
This was
today.
great. This was great.
Yeah, I think that's a good note to close on. Actually,
Yeah.
Oh, no scores?
no score. You know what? I'm dropping the scores. Do you want to give it a score? You need to give it a score. You can give it a score if you want. I thought it was a nice natural roundup, but since you brought it up, if you want to give it, I just feel okay. Since we're gonna have this discussion on the show,
Yeah, let's have
I'm
this
gonna give
discussion
my
on the
full argument. So, I want to abandon the scores because I feel that it's reductive, and it's the opposite of the theme of this show, which is to explore a nuanced, like to have a nuanced discussion of the movie and like explore pros and cons, like, and exploring themes. Like a theme isn't a numberable thing.
True,
And so
but
I
do
feel
think
like giving it a score is kind of reductive, especially when we've been trying to kind of curate to good movies.
You know what? Nick
to some
looks not
extent.
convinced.
I know
No, I'm
Nick
not-
loves
no,
to
I'm
give a
not
score,
convinced.
but like also
Yeah.
our score is coming way late in the game, It's never going to be factored into any kind of Rotten Tomatoes or anything like that.
Of course,
Like it's
yeah.
just this weird number in a vacuum that I'm just I'm not that into it,
Just-
and I feel like it's not in theme with the show.
Just
so if you can beat that argument,
think the same way that I do. Like if 1,000 years from now society disappears and then some
This is
alien
the only
race
tape they find?
finds this tape, then they will have a score at least to just make
Exactly.
this.
What if they just want to like sum it up? They're like, so I don't want to say everything they said. They thought it was like a 7.5. Let me just put it like that. Okay, I'll check out the video. For me, I think it takes a good amount of skill too. It's like being a teacher, like and grading something. Like it's not easy. You got to look at all these elements, and it's also tradition, man.
I
How you
mean,
gonna
I would
throw
give
out
it an A
tradition?
plus, but as a piece of art, like, it has flaws. But like technically, like if I was giving this a grade to a student, which is something I have to do because I'm a teacher.
Now he's a teacher.
There you go. See,
Like, yeah, Spielberg, you get an A plus. Like you pulled it off.
there you go.
But
There you go. You gave
but
it a
does
95.
but is
Alright,
that
what do you want?
like does that make it a perfect movie? Like,
No, it
you know what I
doesn't.
mean? Like,
But let's do this. If we're gonna do this, let's do
I
Nick,
don't
Nick,
want to do
It
it.
should
What's
just
up?
be something that you always do that John
I would
hates.
recommend the
John
movie.
hates it,
That's all I
but
can
like
say. A
it's
thumbs
just
up.
always done.
I'll give it a thumbs up.
What
What do you give it, Nick? What do you give it?
I give it a hard 95.
A hard 95.
Yeah.
Very solid score. Any final thoughts? Chin,
Chin?
do you want to weigh in?
This movie's magic, man. I mean,
magic.
for me, yeah. I mean,
I like that.
I mean, watching it now, I felt like a kid watching a movie again. So, I give it a 98, I guess, out of 100.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
Damn
At
good
100,
score.
not at 1,000.
This is
It
going
was
to be
like
the
what?
best reviewed one. I knew it.
I was gonna go
I
for
thought-
7.5, but I'm
just-
not gonna say anything.
I thought Chip was just going to stick with magic, so then I was going to be like, okay, so a 95, a magic, an A+.
Yeah,
whatever.
and a thumbs up.
The viewers, you find out what that factor is
Yes,
into.
yes. You just like put it like no.
You're
linear-
not getting an average out of me.
You know about the chaos theater? Non-linear equations? Oh,
Yeah.
it's concept of attraction. I don't.
Chaos theory?
I believe. I refuse to believe that you don't understand concept of attraction.
All right. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Nick, from Skyping in from LA. Thank you, Chin.
you.
Can, Jose, thank you for joining us. Where can they find you?
They can find me as Jose in Paradox, at Jose in Paradox in Twitter, and JVCH2 in Instagram.
Instagram.
And
So if you
my
want to follow
Facebook,
Jose,
if you're my friend, yeah.
make fun of him.
Yes.
Go online. and
Please
make
do.
fun of him.
Please do.
Call him a racist.
Of all things.
If you like the show, if you're watching it on YouTube, give us the old thumbs up. It's free to do, and it helps us out. If you don't want to be associated with our podcast, but you still want to help us out, create a fake account based on a separate email, then log in YouTube and give us the thumbs up so that your friends don't have to see it. So I give you a nice workaround. If you're watching it on iTunes, give us a score. Let us know what you think. We could really use the rating. Getting any ratings on the show would help us. So please do that however you listen to it. If you want to recommend a movie or if you want to be on the show, all you got to do is message us on Facebook. We have a Facebook homepage, community page. It's facebook.com/movie club collective. So just go there. We update every week what the next movie is going to be. And we post links to where the show is available there also. So go there. If you want to follow me, I am at Jon in Paradox on both Instagram and Twitter. That's JON in Paradox.
Next movies.
Next week's movie will be, drumroll. Give me a little. There Will Be Blood.
Suck my.
Paul Thomas Anderson's There Will Be Blood.
There will be blood.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
movie.
There
That's
will be blood.
okay, yeah.
Look at Chin's face. He's like, yeah, there will be blood.
There Will Be Blood. There Will Be Blood. So join us next week when we talk about There Will Be Blood. You have a week to watch it. I think Game of Thrones is coming to an end, so hopefully you don't have any more excuses
Yeah.
for not
Yeah.
watching.
Just watch 20 minutes
Let
a
us know what
day.
you thought of the movie. And good night and good luck. This has been a J Squared production.